There's a version of San Antonio that became famous on for the internet, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram, actually anything and everything that you could actually see on your cell phone. Affordable housing, no state income tax at all, a booming economy that's been anchored by the military, warm weather where you can actually wear shorts in the middle of December, world-class Tex-Mex food. Come on down, you're gonna love it. And honestly, a lot of that is true. A lot of things that made people move here to San Antonio, they're actually glad that they did. But in 2026, now, and the same story has changed. Not collapsed, but it has changed. San Antonio has grown fast. The cost of living has risen, and some of what made San Antonio such an easy pitch 4 to 5 years ago has generally an asterisk today. Not yesterday, but today. So the real question is whether San Antonio was worth it. Is it worth it for you? The question is whether it is still worth it right now with 2026 pricing, 2026 housing market, the 2026 cost of living picture that looks completely different than it did in 2021. That's what we're going to be talking on today. We have this conversation more than one time that I can count in my hand or the other one. Someone that saw the video or San Antonio video from 2021 or 2022 got excited about affordability and the lifestyle, and now they are wondering if what they saw is still accurate today. Sometimes the answer is yes, and honestly, majority of the time it is yes. Some of the times it's they need to read the fine print, and sometimes the honest answer is a little bit more specific to get excited about that has changed in a meaningfully good way. Today, we're going to be walking through every single one of them, all of it. By the way, hit that subscribe button right there. You see it, this one right over here, so you can stay in the know in 2026 and beyond. What people were told about San Antonio and what was true. Let's start by acknowledging what the San Antonio pitch was all about, because the whole conversation only makes sense if we're honest about the baseline. You know it's true. Here's how the pitch went. It went something like this. San Antonio is one of the most affordable large cities in America. Median home prices were in the low 200s. No state income tax in Texas at all. Recession-resistant economy built on military, healthcare, and the government. Grilled culture, legendary food, and a vibrant art scene around the Pearl District. Year-round warm weather, room to grow. And look, that pitch was not wrong in 2020. 2021 and early 2022, that was pretty much accurate description of the entire city. The housing pricing was real, the tax advantage was real, the economy stability was real. People moved here and found what they were promised. The issue is that San Antonio has become one of the fastest growing cities in the country for the past decade, and the growth changes things. Some of the changes are good, and some of the changes put real pressure on things that made San Antonio such a compelling pitch for you to move here. Let's look at the market signals. San Antonio grew by roughly 20,000 to 30,000 people annually throughout the early 2020s. That level of immigration is not neutral. It reshapes San Antonio, its cost, infrastructure, its character, and it's compelling for the housing markets and jobs. Here are the 5 things that have changed or made San Antonio slightly different. The housing cost, the affordability with the asterisk that you're seeing right now. This is one of the ones that matters for most people considering moving to San Antonio. San Antonio is still more affordable than Dallas, Austin, and any other coastal city. That part is true, but the specific version of affordability that made people's jaw drop a few years ago is not an offer in 2026. The median home price were around $220 in 2020 to a peak of roughly $310 to $315 in 2022. They've pulled back to the low mid 280s today. That's still affordable relatively to other parts of the country, but it is not the sub 230 market that went viral on relocations and YouTube. And here's why it's a little bit more complicated. Mortgage rates in 2020, 2021, people were getting a 2.5 to 3.5 rate. Today, 6.5 to 7%. That rate change applies to higher purchase price and dramatically reshapes your monthly payment. A home that cost $1,200 a month in 2021 costs $2,400 to almost $3,000 in 2026, factoring in rates, taxes, and insurance. So, No longer true. San Antonio has a crazy affordability housing. The version people saw in 2021 videos no longer exists. Prices are down from the peaks dramatic 2022 and 2020. Monthly ownership costs have roughly doubled for comparable homes when you account for rates. Still true, San Antonio is still meaningfully more affordable than Austin, Denver, Phoenix, or any other coastal market. The value proportion compared to the peers remains real. The absolute numbers have just risen significantly. Here's an insider tip for you. If your affordability expectations are based on context you watched 2-3 years ago, recalibrate before you start looking for homes here in San Antonio. The current market requires current numbers. We'd be more than happy to run them for you. Now let's look at property taxes. Still climbing, still catching people completely off guard. Property tax were always a weak spot in San Antonio pitch, and they have not gotten any better. If anything, the assessed value climbed during the pandemic appreciation cycle. Tax bill followed, and a lot of homeowners who bought in 2020 or 2021 have watched their effective tax bill grow meaningfully since then. The effective property rate in Bexar County, San Antonio, still runs between 2 to 2.5% on assessed value annually. On a $285,000 home, that's roughly between $6,000 to $7,500 per year, or close to $600 per month added onto your housing cost through escrow. On an appreciating 310 peak, the title bill for the appraisal went up. The 2023 tax legislation increased the homestead exemption, helped somewhat. It raised the school district exemption to $100,000 of appraised value, but the underlying rate structure hasn't changed, and the bills are still substantially higher than most out-of-state buyers expected. What's changed? The property tax bills are higher in 2026 than they were in 2019 and 2020 because of the assessed value ran up with prices. Legislation relief has been partial, not comprehensive. Budget $500 to $600 per month for taxes on a medium-priced home in San Antonio. Here's an insider tip. Protest your appraised value every single year. The Bexar County Appraisal District are frequently above market values, and successful protests, which cost nothing to file, commonly saves between $500 to $1,500 annually. It is one of the most accessible cost reduction tools rates in San Antonio homeowners, as far too many people skip it. This city is growing fast. Not all of it is good. Growth gets marked as a feature. More restaurants, more development, more economic activity, and some of it is generally true. The Pearl District has continued to evolve. New neighborhoods have come online. The cultural scene, or the culinary scene, has expanded. There's more to do in San Antonio in 2026 than there was in 2019. But growth at that pace San Antonio has been experienced also creates real friction. Traffic has gotten meaningfully worse. The quarters that were already congested, 281, Loop 1604, I-10 West, are under more pressure as the population expands into the outer rings and commute distance grows. Infrastructure has not kept pace with the population growth, which is a consistent pattern in fast-growing Texas metros. Road expansions get approved and then takes years to compete. New developments get built faster than the utility and road infrastructure to support them. And the character of some neighborhoods has shifted. Areas that were quiet and underpriced have been discovered and priced accordingly. The hidden gem version of certain San Antonio neighborhoods that early movers found, not what was available to people arriving in 2026. Now the question, what changed? Traffic congestion is noticeably worse than it was 5 years ago. The outer ring communities were affordable. New construction is congested, added real commute times for buyers whose jobs were closer to the urban core. The small city feel of certain neighborhoods has faded as they've been filled in. The market signals. Growth trajectory is not slowing. San Antonio continues to add population, which has long-term implications for both quality of life and home values. That the friction of growth is real, and the equity tailwind of continued demand is a real benefit. Now let's look at the job market as it's matured, and so has the competition. The San Antonio's job market pitch was always stable and diverse. Military, healthcare, government, tourism, and that foundation is still intact. JBSA is still one of the largest military institutions in the country. The South Texas Medical Center still employs tens of thousands of government employees remain steady. What has changed is the labor market dramatically around those sectors. San Antonio has attracted enough in-migration over the past 5 years that competition for local jobs has increased. The city has felt like a place where your skills would stand out because it was less competitive than Austin or Dallas. It's not quite that market anymore. For remote workers, San Antonio remains excellent. Lower cost of living than most remote work-friendly cities, good infrastructure, and life that supports the work from home demographics well. But for people planning to job hunt locally after arriving, the market is still competitive than it was in 2020 and 2020 version of the city suggests. What has changed? The local job market is more competitive than it was 5 years ago. Immigration has increased and the labor supply across multiple sectors. The move to easy San Antonio and find a job quickly is more variable now than there was the old narrative suggests. What still is true for remote workers and military personnel, of course, with healthcare professionals and government contractors, San Antonio remains one of the most rational cost of living decisions in the country, the United States. Now let's look at the insurance costs have jumped hard. This one is newer and hits harder than most people anticipated. Home insurance cost in Texas has risen significantly in the past 2 to 3 years as carriers have repriced their risk exposure, driving up by hailstorms, wind events, the Uri freeze aftermath, and broader national insurance markets that has tightened significantly dramatically. In 2020 and 2021, San Antonio homeowners might have paid $1,200 to $1,500 annually for a standard policy and a medium-priced home. In 2026, comparable coverage runs between $2,000 to $3,000 annually, an increase of 40 to 80% depending on the home, the carrier, and the claim history of the home or the property. Some carriers have reduced their Texas exposure and exited the market entirely, reduced competition, and keep prices elevated. This is not a San Antonio specific problem. It is a Texas-wide and national insurance market dynamic, but is also in addition to the cost of home ownership. The 2021 pitch to San Antonio did not include. What has changed? Homeowners insurance in San Antonio has risen 40 to 80% over the past 3 to 4 years. Budget between $200 to $250 per month for coverage on medium-priced homes, significantly higher than what existing homeowners locked in years ago were paying. Watch out for this. Don't assume your insurance quote from 2 years ago is current. Reshop aggressively at every renewal and when purchasing. That spread between the carriers of identical coverage for the same home can be between $600 to $1,000 per year in 2026. We've spent a lot of time on what's gotten harder or more expensive. Now let's look equally and honestly at what remains genuinely compelling about San Antonio in 2026, because the list is real and substantial. No state income tax has not changed. This is structural, not cyclical. High earners and remote workers relocating or moving from high-tech states still experience a meaningful and permanent financial improvement. On a $150,000 income moving in from California, you save roughly between $12,000 to $16,000 per year in state income tax alone. That math has not changed at all. The military, healthcare economy is still the bedrock of San Antonio and is still one of the most recession-resistant economic foundations of any major U.S. city. JBSA is not going anywhere. The San Antonio, Texas Methodist Medical Center is not going anywhere, and these are structural anchors. The culture, the food, the community identity. San Antonio still has something that most city sizes completely lack. Fiesta, the Riverwalk, the Spurs, a deep sense of place, the Tex-Mex that will ruin you for every other city. None of that has changed. If anything, the growth expanded to the culinary and cultural scene. And San Antonio is still, relative to Austin, Denver, Seattle, Boston, and Miami, a significantly more affordable city. The value proportion compared to its peer metros has compressed, but it has not disappeared at all. What is still true, no state income tax, military, healthcare, economic anchors, a genuine cultural identity, relatively affordable compared to its peers. These are the pillars of San Antonio's pitch, and those still remain standing. Who is San Antonio still an exciting move for? Let's be very, very specific, and these are the profiles for whom San Antonio in 2026 is still genuinely exciting for. Military family PCSing to JBSA. The one is essentially unchanged. The VA loan advantage in San Antonio, the community infrastructure built around military life, and the relative housing affordability compared to any other major military institution. San Antonio still remains one of the best places in the country to be stationed. If you're coming here on orders, you're going into a very good market. Remote workers from high cost of living states. If you're earning a coastal salary and can work from anywhere, San Antonio's cost of living advantage is still very real. Lower housing costs, no state income tax, warmer weather, strong infrastructure. The absorption is smaller than it was in 2020, but it's still meaningful. Healthcare and government professionals. The job market for these specific skills in San Antonio is deep, stable, and well compared to local cost of living. This is a city built for your sector. Buyers with a 5+ year horizon. If you're committing to San Antonio for the long term, family, career, community, this equity trajectory and quality of life of picture still makes strong case for ownership here over any alternative at the same price range. The verdict: for the right profile, San Antonio in 2026 remains one of the best relocation or places to move decisions available anywhere in the country, the United States. The pitch has narrowed. This is not universally easy as it was in 2020, but the core case for the right buyer or mover is still very strong. Who should think twice about making a move to San Antonio or this area? And now let's be honest with the counterpart. These are the profiles for whom San Antonio in 2026 deserves a little bit more scrutiny before committing. People expecting the 2021 price environment. If your budget was built around 2020 median prices on a 3% interest rate, the math does not work in 2026. The city is more expensive and the monthly ownership cost is dramatically higher. That doesn't mean that you can't make it work. It means you have to recalibrate before you arrive. Local job seekers in competitive fields. If you're planning to move first and find a job in a private sector role afterwards, understand that the local job market is more competitive than it used to be. Come with a job lineup if you can do it, if it's even possible. People who need walkability or robust transportation. This has always been true and it remains true. San Antonio is a car city. Its walkable urban living or car-free commuting is essentially your quality of life. San Antonio is going to frustrate you. Short-term movers planning for flipping quickly. The transaction cost math of buying and selling within 2-3 years is punishing. 8 to 10% of home values in a combined cost and appreciation environment does not reliably cover it in the near term. Watch out for this. Moving to San Antonio based on content that was created 2 to 4 years ago is one of the most common mistakes you'll see in relocating or moving buyers. The fundamentals are similar, the specific numbers are not. Update your research before you commit to San Antonio. The honest verdict: is it still worth to move to San Antonio? Here's the straight answer after doing work every day in the San Antonio market. Yes, with conditions. San Antonio is still worth it for buyers and movers who have accurate expectations and realistic financial pictures of what they're actually entering in. The city's fundamentally strengths, economic stability, relative affordability, cultural identity, military infrastructure, population growth that supports long-term values are very, very real. What has changed is the margins. The easy win version of San Antonio, where affordability was dramatic, competition was low, and the upside was obvious, has narrowed like in any other city. You have to move more intentionally now. You have to run the right numbers. You have to understand which neighborhoods fits your lifestyle, which school districts serve your family, and what the true monthly cost of ownership looks like in 2026 dollars. But the city is still good. It's growing up a little. It's gotten a little more expensive, lost a little bit of its hidden gems quality, and it's still one of the better places to land in America if your profile fits. The verdict is San Antonio is still worth it for the right person with the current expectations and a realistic plan. It's not a slam dunk like it was in 2020 or prices and 2021 rates. It is a consideration, well-informed decision that still comes out positive for a lot of people. If you're still trying to figure out and weigh in if moving to San Antonio in 2026 is the right decision, and you've been watching it from the sidelines and still trying to figure out if right now is the right time for you, reach out to us. Rosa and I do this every single week. We work with people moving in from other parts of the country, military families, remote workers, first-time buyers, and people who are just done where they're living, California. We'll give you the same honest picture we just gave you in this video right here, but specifically to your situation, your budget, your timeline. No cheerleading, no pressure at all, just real information. Visit this link right over here so you can start looking at homes. Hit that subscribe button right there, because we put out content like this every single week, what's actually happening with San Antonio in the market, and give you 2026 updates. No hype at all. I want to hear from you. Did you move to San Antonio based on content you saw from a few years ago? What has been your experience? Did it match what you were expecting, or did some of those things change or catch you off guard? Drop them in the comments below. I read every single one of them. My name is Jesse. I'm with the Garza Home Team. I'll see you next week, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe button's right over here. You see it?